you can start the meeting. Approval of the March minutes.
I'll approve.
So visitors' comments.
You want to talk about here?
Yeah, I guess so. This is where Dave's, and I'm gonna try to summarize this really quickly. He talks about Webster Groves being a community, and he talks about how there's poverty in Webster Groves. And his idea is for the businesses one night in December, or maybe it's November. I think it was December. He just threw out that date. Businesses would be open from 6 to 9, and then they would give a portion of their proceeds to a needy family in Webster Grove, somebody who's living below the poverty line, someone who's maybe been singled out by Rock Hill Ministries. Then everyone would get together, maybe at Olive and Oak in the meeting room back there, and everyone would turn in what they had earned or given, and that would be presented to the Rock Hill Ministries to distribute. It wouldn't just be given to a family, you know, to do whatever they would want to with it. So that's basically the idea. Did you get that email, Frank? So I don't know if we could maybe send that out to all of our members after this meeting or whenever. Then everyone can read it and we could discuss that in the next meeting. Everyone has time to read it and kind of go over it and give us their thoughts. Good.
We have girls' night out that night.
All right, great. Yeah, I'm about to start yelling. So rooftop lighting update.
I will ask Frank. I did not get anything. He is back though, so he 2 weeks back, so.
Okay. Good.
I do have a decorative parking sign update though.
Nice.
If you turn around, and look behind you, you can see one. And we just had a conversation, Dan, obviously. Where do think Frank has it?
I'm like, what? I
That's right.
can't even
Dan
read
and I-
that.
Yeah, right. So that's the 2-hour parking sign. You can take a look at it as you go out. They're all steel. It's gonna be an incredible cost to buy 34 new pieces of steel. So we want to see, can we sandblast them? Is that something we should do to be able to get the vinyl? Tim and I'm looking at you and make sure what you guys are talking about would work if that's sandblasted and repainted. I assume so, but so want to bring that in so we could get that on the table, and obviously Public Works will attach and do whatever's needed, but that's what they look like when you take them off their rain stands.
Yeah, that's not good.
So it's the sticker that's flaked off.
Well,
Is
it's
it
a protective
silkscreen?
coating on a sticker. And the sticker part is pretty much one with that backing. If anybody else knows anything about paint or anything, I'm not a paint expert, but I just isn't gonna come off. And that
And then
ring,
that sits in the frame,
That's
right?
right. That's just in the frame. Yep. So we can take all them down and we take them down in stages but the point being is that piece of steel, if we're not going to use it and buy a new one, isn't going to be quite expensive.
So there's a company that can take that and they use a chemical to eat the paint off. And then we can have it either powder coated or refinished.
Can you look at the
Yeah.
price per sign?
Sure.
And I think, how many signs do we have? Do we have
34.
34.
it almost seems like, well, that's just like a giant sticker is what that is.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and so it seems like to me that maybe if there's a way to get that a little bit smoother, I don't know, you know, anything smoothness, and then just getting a whole new vinyl sticker and sticking on top of it.
So like sanding it.
Yeah, most like a
They
belt
use
sander.
They'll use a dip. It just eats all the.
Eats it all off.
If it's an acid, it'll be
Okay.
back down to the metal.
And they powder coat it
And
black.
then they can powder coat it black
Mhm.
and put
And then we
reapply
put
our
our sticker.
sticker.
See, that's probably cheaper than buying new metal.
Yeah.
I would say that is, but still super inexpensive.
No. What is it?
Right.
So, I mean, we can go that route. It'll be obviously however long that turnaround is. When we take
Right.
it down, we'll have to put temporary signs up, but
Yeah, that's true.
so we can do that if that's what y'all want to do.
Well, I don't know if they do temporary signs. I think after the result, can just start writing tickets whenever you want.
Yeah.
Parking fine revenue is up this year, so up the result has been.
Or give them a couple of weeks off for, while we get them made.
They don't read the signs anyway.
Yeah, they can't.
The other sign that you can kind of see it at least. You can kind of read the other sign a little. That one, I haven't seen one that bad.
That's historic Webster.
That's
I think I want it from
Farther
Schnars.
away.
That's from Schnars down here, I
Yeah,
believe.
okay.
So Frank, you're gonna get a quote on that?
Okay, so you see it.
I will ask Frank. Frank thought we could sandblast. I don't know the size of our sandblaster, so if that's an option, just to give you.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I mean, I was also just thinking, I mean, of course, I don't know. I'm talking about like a belt sander and just smoothing it at least, and then just sticking another vinyl sticker on it. But of course, once you stick something, I mean, somebody else knows, the sign department at Webster would know, no, that's sign, those new stickers are gonna start bubbling off and.
And that's what Frank was worried about. I mean, if we're gonna apply them, is that essentially you're gonna emboss over it and will it start to bubble? It's certainly gonna show through and the cracks will start to come through,
Right,
so.
right.
Because on a 100 degree day, how hot does steel get sitting out there in the sun? I mean,
Oh, yeah,
that's-
oh no, I'm sure it's ridiculous. Yeah. Okay. All right, Frank, so if you can look that up, it'd be great. Appreciate that. District pedestrian signs. So we talked about the pedestrian signs are sitting there blank.
I didn't hear back from Jean. I'll follow up with her. She was gonna design the additional promotions that we have throughout the year. You're talking about those signs, right?
Right, exactly, where they're just,
The
they're
green
just,
light.
they're basically, yeah, there's a couple different of these, whatever they are, wayfinding sign, post those, and they have blank, they're all blank now. And,
There's 5 on North Core
right,
and 2 at Allen.
right, exactly, and so we were just gonna put like, hey, the street dance is the third Saturday in June, and jazz festival and.
Christmas open
house.
house, right?
And then at least have something on those and kind of just as foreman.
So I'll follow up with her and have them answer.
Okay.
She agreed to do them, so. Hopefully they continue.
Okay, yeah, anytime anyone's volunteered, it takes a little longer.
Right.
There are, and we have, by Allen, the 3 that businesses are still there. We left those signs in. You all want to make we just left them in because
The businesses are still there.
still there.
Absolutely. And
So
they-
that's
and they-
the only 3 in town that are still around.
Right. Future revenue options.
So I did pull, I know Dave mentioned discussing this as we go forward. The attorneys pulled together some ideas. You know, the surcharge issue that he talked about with professionals is an option, but things like that. So very preliminary, just
Okay.
a list of things for Dave to look through and, you know,
Okay.
sort of parse
So
out.
that is kind of an option.
It is an option, yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes, it is. Your revenue stream in there is probably not as robust. I'll just lay on the table. I know BDC has talked about the SID option.
Uh-huh,
So that's a much more robust option because you have the sales tax availability.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you that whole spread when we look at that, so
Right.
that. Where do you want to spend political capital and will with the business owners, you know, and such about getting more money off.
right,
Put it-
yeah, and yeah, it's, you know, I mean, Dave, of course, isn't paying anything in, and he's one who brought it up, so I mean, I believe that this, you know, professional services like that, they want the area to look nice, and they don't want it to keep going downhill like it kind of is because of our loss of revenue stream.
And they benefit from.
And they benefit from it too. I mean, people, you go to the dentist, you don't want to go to a dump, you know, I mean, you don't want trash blowing on your street and that type of stuff. So I don't, and I'm not saying, in my vision, it wouldn't be a huge $10,000 or anything weird. It would just be a slight sum just to help. So, and there's a lot of professional businesses that I think would be okay with it, so. Okay, summer street dance. Dave is not here. Do you have any?
Yeah, well, we've got the bands
Mhm.
booked, the stage is booked. I don't know about porta potties. But that would be something easy that we've always done. So I think, and the sound system is booked. So we're pretty much.
So everything's ready to go. What about, we don't bring in chairs for that event, is
No,
that right? Everybody
it's
just,
real simple.
everybody brings their own lawn chairs in kind of basically, and, so, just had to have a
Are
couple.
you doing the food vending again?
I'll be there and then I'm just working on some restaurants.
Okay,
Okay, all right, and then Dave will have, he'll hopefully have some committee to clean up, which will be me. But that event is also not jazz festival cleanup, you know, it's
What
not,
kind is-
it's not near, everybody seems to.
well, you don't have chairs put away, you don't
Right.
have tables put away.
Right, they seem to clean up better, it's not as big, and the trash cans aren't overflowing, and
Right.
jazz festival is just a battle to keep emptying the trash cans fast enough,
Right.
so. Right, Eric?
Yeah.
Eric. Eric. So our annual report is due May 2nd. Dave, I hope you're watching this.
I'll just ask questions.
I know he's not here. He's on the plane right now.
The other districts have asked just me to put in their basic bullet points of what they've done, where they're
Great.
going, so I'll do that. I'll send it out to you all, and Dave, whatever you, but it's gonna be by email, so if you respond, if you have something to say, if you don't,
Perfect.
your piece is set, so.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be, I think your conversation with the council, and certainly for Mr. Smith, will really be your budget changes. That'll be where the council will probably focus on.
Okay.
So.
On new business, I'd like to bring up something. So I don't know what is this? We've talked about this, and I'm sorry, I haven't really delved into it until the last couple of weeks.
So business license?
Yeah. Wow, you're a mind reader.
Oh, yeah. So, we've gotten lots of calls and requests. I don't know how many of you got the mailing. Did anyone get the mailing from the
No.
day?
And I came up here finally, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to search on the website, just thinking that I'm a boomer and looking for the blue dot thing that people keep talking about in this meeting, and I feel like I'm a
Nope.
moron.
So,
but I-
So first of all, one,
Due
well,
this week,
and
right?
they're not due this week, so that's that point. So
Okay.
It will be
we're
no
gonna-
fine.
yeah. So we're gonna be sending out a public release and such like that. There is not gonna be a fine.
Mhm.
You'll be due at the end of June, so you have through the balance of of our fiscal year. The system is all ready. It's just waiting on one piece on the back end over there at Blue Dot. The directory is ready. BDC has seen that piece of it, that this is the online way you all do your renewals and such.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to the letters, because some people have gotten them. I've gotten calls from some professional businesses that, we send their mail to like Georgia, right?
Okay.
And they got them, but some here haven't and such, so.
Yeah, I've never not gotten one, but
Well,
I've also had my mail stolen and checks stolen out of my mail.
Well, we're down to
Multiple
about,
times.
we're about 2 days a week here at City Hall in May. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's when we're getting it and it's being picked up, so.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. I honestly, I can't tell you, but no one's going to be late because of that, so.
Is it possible for the city to send out an email and just kind of,
It came up yesterday, so it's all gonna go up, yes, so you're all gonna get a copy of it. I would encourage you to share it with your fellow business owners.
Right, okay.
There's not gonna be any late fees assessed in that regard, so.
Okay.
And it'll go up, it'll be hopefully, say today, but today's pretty full,
right,
so
okay,
probably tomorrow. But-
okay, okay. And that also just remind people that, I don't know, if, I'll just be honest with you, Spire doesn't send me a bill
Yep.
1 month, and I know to pay the gas bill every month, but if they don't send it to me, I don't pay it, and then all of a sudden, the next month, oh, you missed your bill, I'm like, I didn't get it. They're like, we sent it, and I'm like, well, it's weird that Ameren and every other company, I always get it, Inspire, I usually get it the day it's due. So. It's true. It is, right?
Yeah.
Hey, your bill's due today.
Well, one of the challenges we've had with businesses now, Blue Dot helped us to be able to get to this, but for many of your business license renewal forms in the past, you didn't have to fill out the email and such like that. So we actually don't have in the old system many emails for the businesses. Many folks didn't use them, and especially those corporate entities that are paying in from somewhere else. We don't know where things were. So we're stuck with snail mail in terms of renewals.
Okay,
Because it was the only thing we collected and actually input. Even if you wrote it down, we didn't necessarily input it in our own data processes, which I don't understand why. Not complaining about that. That's mine to own as well, but
right, yeah,
the new system will do all that. So then you'll have immediate turn up. So the moment you get the link, you can pay and take care of it all right there.
okay. Sounds good. Okay, BDC update.
We had a meeting since.
Yeah.
We did? It wasn't the Thursday before last time?
Thursday before.
Yeah, so we haven't had a meeting
Okay,
since our last meeting.
We did. We've had a meeting since the last taxing district meeting. We had the BDC meeting.
It was after, I was saying it was this Thursday before last. When it does that odd thing where it's not on the same week.
It'll be like that next month.
Next, we spoke about where we are requesting money and where it needs to go. Right?
Yeah, I can't remember if you were before or after, so they talked about their budget and about adding, was it 45,000 was your request for business marketing and social media support for Explore Webster Groves and driving foot traffic to the city and the retailers and restaurants. Miss anything there, Stacy?
The STL Shop Local, somebody is working on that campaign as well.
Yes.
And then the QR code with the map. And it was a Thursday after the taxing district meeting,
Okay.
same week.
And the QR code, that's that idea, Stacy, it's like a cling that we would put on a window and then anybody could just click on it and find out about Webster Groves.
Yeah, it is going to be an interactive map. So we need to start narrowing down like what what's going to be on the landing page, what we are going to categorize each company under. It really is. Eric is really spearheading it through the BDC or for the BDC. Oh, he's going to log in and show you Blue Dot right now. This is so cool. So the idea is everybody will have a window cling with a QR code that could possibly be set to as like a "you are here." We don't. I think we're still like trying to work those kinks out and how that's going to land, but.
So this is our internal view here, which is the CRM, but essentially if you will be able to see, I'll get you over to the public view. You'll be able to zoom in on all sorts of areas. You can see all the red dots, their businesses. I'm just going to grab. Is that Parkmore? Look at that. There we go. Look at you, Parkmore. So this is our internal side of this, but essentially Parkmore, you'll be able to see, you can see all the emails that you're tagged in, Frank, because it's got your email. So all Dave Buck's emails are being tagged in your business as well. So, but anyways, to the profile, you'll be able to edit your profile with all your details that you want to add. You can add in visitors. I'm going to push you over this way. That should get us there. Here's the public page. That is, there we are. So this is the public page here. That's much better for you all to see that. Frank, you'll be able to go in and see the contact details and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about all that piece. I know we just wanted to talk about the map. Let me get back to. I don't want that way. I want all the way to Webster Groves. I'm sorry, folks. Not giving me easy to work here.
It's going to be much more user friendly when it's not in the back end.
Exactly. So I will get to the page. Why can't I find this dumb thing? I apologize. There we go. All right, here's Webster Groves. So this is what the public sees without all of you in the way. I'm going to get rid of you. When they zoom in, when they come in, we can set this filter to whatever. So like you'll have a QR code for Old Webster. Obviously, all the blue dots right now are the people in Webster, all of the city. There's all the blue dots in Webster Grove, in Old Webster. As you can see, if we just put them all on, people will be overwhelmed by blue dots, right?
Right.
So there's this question about what do we have that comes up, right? And so we talked about, is it just retail and restaurants? Is it just retail? What do we have that pops up? I mean, you're getting, as you can see, when we zoom in, you know, equal here, just right in the Lockwood building, you've got many different in that one little block, right? So what comes up? So all these businesses, you all will pick what category you're going to go in. I've got no feedback from the BDC about categories, so we're just going to take the old categories and move them forward. So if you have opinions about categories, you can send them in as you get this. We'll also be able to sort by the area of the business, and then we can turn on who's open now, so we can eliminate people who are closed when people are using the QR code or such if we want. The unlisted is an internal thing for us, who has jobs posting, who takes Webster bucks, things like that. So
Events.
I'm
Sorry
sorry.
to
go ahead.
interrupt you. I thought what was really cool was we can also post events as well.
correct. So the business, I'll just use this group here. They can post promotions. So you'll be able to go in and add your promotion. You can add a sale, whatever you want in there, an event. You can add a job opportunity. You can add your own media in and such like that. So
Can you go back to that map real quick?
I can. You've asked me to do a lot there.
So, and I was just wondering, like, if you look at the vet that's up from next door to Stacy,
Yeah,
they have 3 dots on them. I know there's only 1 vet in there.
yep. So this is part of that whole, go back here. The joyous part of data. I'm going the right way.
There you go.
Right there.
No, keep going.
One more.
Well, now there's only 1 dot. There were,
See, it still says Acme, it doesn't have base.
got
data
it,
yet,
okay,
So,
I gotcha.
Yeah, see, we gotta work out some kinks.
yeah.
Right.
So everyone will be able to go in, it pulled through Google as well. So if you're still listed in Google, it's grabbing that data and pulling in. So this will be where this first time out, you're gonna, okay, what's old and we get rid of, but also you as a business can update all your stuff and it'll
Right.
feed back into Google as well.
Okay.
They'll be pulling from each other. So
Alright, got it, okay.
Um, one other thing we talked about at BDC is, like Eric said, the marketing plan. So we're looking at requesting money from the city for some type of marketing package for like a website, or we were talking about possibly requesting money from a SID to hire an employee for the city, or would like to put money in a pot for the city to hire somebody. They can help.
they meet Thursday, so.
Okay.
Another update of that.
And I sat in on a subcommittee meeting about the SID,
Mhm.
you know, and so that, I guess that's just gonna be a moving forward and assessing and stuff like that, and then,
Obviously, it has not risen to become a council recommendation yet. That
Right.
kicks off a whole new world of things, but I think we're still at the early stage of the scope and defining, right?
Right,
You know, what's the width and the breadth and what's it for?
right,
I mean,
okay.
that's the, you know, any SID needs those things answered, so.
Okay.
And if all things went that way,
Mhm.
how long before that would really be?
Oh, I think once you have the council ready and buy-in and you've sort of done that preliminary work of talk to the businesses, that I don't know how long it's gonna take to get business buy-in, right, if they're agreeing to it, but the actual process is only a couple of months.
Well, it's not businesses, it's property owners, right?
What depends on,
Isn't it property owners?
it is property owner, yes, so I'm sorry, property owners, yes, businesses that, we have many that own.
I understand,
So,
right, sure.
But a SID could also come from sales tax, right?
that's correct, yeah, so the sales tax is not hard to turn on once the SID is done, that can turn on quick. Property taxes take a long time to turn on, and then we may have that overlap year. I'm just saying, if this business district or any others decided not to exist and to go completely to a SID,
Mhm.
I don't know the turn down time of that tax. I think you still end up with 1 year like overlap there that you're in, so. We can analyze all those questions. We just haven't asked them yet, because again, what's the scope and the breadth that we're thinking and purpose, right?
And then is there a financial number that is being forecast for that, for the SID?
We can forecast many numbers, but we don't, again, it goes to scope, it goes to the scope, you know, what district and then how much. So if you just look at citywide, a quarter cent sales tax is about $700,000 across the entire city. Right, which is pretty good, so.
I think what we were talking about requesting at the BDC was something like $30,000 or what?
45 total, 45.
To potentially go for a SID to fill this position, or to just straight up ask for the money to be able to hire somebody at City Hall or hire an
So-
outside marketing company.
The budget request has been submitted by BDC to be city give us funding for marketing purposes, you know, the STL. SID, obviously, if it came in, could supplement that or take over that, but that's just not a reality yet, so we don't. This budget we built on, is the city going to kick in that money, right, out of its current revenue streams?
Anything else on BDC? Sounds like a lot. Okay, city update.
Councilmember Smith is here.
Good morning. Only have one item is that this evening at the City Hall, we're having the meet the chief of police candidates from 5 to 7. So they've been in interviews all day yesterday. I believe they're in interviews all day today too. So please come out and meet the candidates. Be able to ask them questions and talk to them individually.
Councilmember Smith, are any of the candidates from internal?
We have one internal candidate, yes.
Okay, okay.
The other candidates are one's from Texas, one's from Nebraska, and one is from where else, Eric?
Illinois.
Illinois.
Colorado.
In the internal one, how long has he worked for the department?
26 years.
26 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Officer Razul is definitely not commenting in that moment.
And then I think last time we met, what was that date? Was that on this, like the second or third? The election results, that was all the election, everything that the city was voting for passed, is that
Yes.
correct?
All of the bond issue and all of the charter amendments did pass.
Okay.
I was
So-
so confused from that judge charter amendment. What? And
Oh, the thing of it is that the way the charter reads now, that the judge must live in Webster Groves. And our ability to choose is very slim. Not, and I mean, like our city attorney, when he was hired, he had to live in Webster Groves. I mean, I have no problem with the city attorney. I like Neil, but I'm just saying there were so many more candidates outside of Webster Groves that could have applied as well.
Yeah, I always think it's good to have people in the community who are working here and be involved here who know more, but in certain areas, I do agree that we're not a giant city. And I think sometimes we have to reach outside of the city limits a little bit, possibly.
I think you saw that in the results. I mean, it was the only one that was close to, even close. I mean, it was 54% passive. So it only takes a majority, but the rest of them were 70 to 80%. So.
Okay, Officer Razul, how's that parking garage going?
Is half open.
It still looks like I drive by there, it doesn't look like it's 100% packed. Is it always
I
full?
haven't been able to park there some days and I have a
Okay,
pass.
right, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
It's full.
tight.
I mean, it's half of it is in use.
Right, I understand, of course, right, yeah,
Lunch hour, yeah, midday is tough.
okay.
And then, so then I went up to the employee parking lot. There's one spot left there.
Up at the top where we are?
Well, but our employee lot,
Yeah, our.
the other one,
Oh, I got you, okay.
We did have, what, 4 cars sit there for tires? 3 cars one night? So,
Oh, I saw.
yeah, so
4 cars away.
4 cars sit for all their tires. All removed, so. For nights. So we are, for those of you who have permits, looking at what is the appropriate amount of rebate for the time and such. We haven't calculated that yet simply because we don't want this project to get done and hopefully it is all done on time, but don't know why we have to have workers there at a moment and, you know, what's the status, so. So essentially there'll be a rebate of some type, I would imagine, for yellow permit holders.
So the cars that were, I don't know if anybody knows this, but there were 3 cars that had all their tires stolen off. They were left on bricks, which was nice of them not to slam them on the ground. But, is there parking over, like in our parking lot, you're not allowed to overnight, and in the parking lot behind our store, the employee lot there's no overnight parking.
I don't think there's a restriction on that lot of overnight parking. It becomes the Presbyterian's property again after hours.
I got you, okay.
So I don't know what their restrictions are. I believe that those cars were company cars and that usually do stay in their permit spots overnight.
So
I
those
think
are
that's,
permits parking.
those were yellow permits that moved up to that lot.
From the parking
From the
lot.
garage, yes. So, and they usually, I think, stay overnight for company cars.
Right.
So, I believe most of them.
They were all,
Is it Farnsworth?
yeah.
Yes.
They weren't custom wheels, they were just factory
They were-
wheels.
It's like going out.
Plain
to
Jane
the car.
cars.
So, what they, the Kirkwood, they have what, 100 cars, what? if they
Yeah,
Rent or.
they had
rental
an
center? So,
enterprise, rental.
And there's no camera.
I mean, they're
I
quick.
think everything's caught on camera.
It's nighttime.
I have a friend who had his catalytic, he lives in the city, but he has a whole video of a guy going under his car, stealing his catalytic converter. It's all on tape. You just can't, he's dressed in black, has a mask, you can't see anything. And he's under there, just do, and it's just gone. So.
stealing
Um,
tires.
My question is, I have a quick question about that overnight parking thing. There's not a limit to how long you can park your car in that permit space?
I don't, but there is no 3-hour parking in the garage, 2-hour parking. 3-hour parking is by ordinance and it's during the business hours. So there may be a general ordinance that applies, but in general, it's never been an issue about the overnight parking there, and such that has come up. I'm gonna look at Officer Rizzuto because I don't want to speak for enforcement, but it's never been one to raise the city that, we gotta get these cars out of here.
Usually if somebody needs to leave their vehicle, they reach out to me. So we kind of patrol the area. I had people reach out, in the last year, and that's okay. But if we don't know who's parking there overnight, then I can't tell officers to go and patrol.
Right.
So.
I'm
But
just-
they were in the garage and then they just happened to park there.
My question isn't necessarily like about the overnight. It's more of like, can you park in a spot for 3 days and not move your car?
It's a permit.
If it's a permit, but they're permit parking, so they're paying for a spot.
Mhm.
And so in reality, I mean.
I don't think we've
However
never
long you
made them move it if they've got the permit. I'm looking to get you an officer, so I just wanna make sure.
No, I have never enforced, unless if something's suspicious, I will do something about it, but if they have a permit, everything's registered. And they're in their spot, I don't do anything, to do anything else about it.
They used to park some cars behind, in the lot behind us, Stacy. Farnsworth did, they had Farnsworth on the side of their truck, and so, but I don't know. That was just periodically, I know they would be sitting there, but that was that, it wasn't that big a deal, I don't think, so. And the permit spots are at night, they're not, it's not for all night. I mean, anybody can park in a permit spot after 5.
Yep.
So it's wide open to anybody, so.
And,
I'm
and
just wondering, like, let's just say the Farmsworth truck or like any type of like billboard vehicle, if they paid for a permit, they could literally just park their car there and never move it. Right? Is that what we're saying?
I think you can't park overnight. I think it's not allowed. I don't know why, I don't know where I saw that, but you're not supposed to keep a car.
we may
overnight.
very well have an overnight parking ordinance. Most cities do. I don't know. That's why I'm not giving you a firm answer because I just don't know off the top of my
I
head.
think you'll find there is one.
I'm pretty sure there probably is one. That said, enforcement over overnight parking becomes a big deal, right? I mean, if you start strictly enforcing that, and I understand what the question is and some of that concern, because you buy a permit, now you got a billboard, parked outside my business, right, or such. But also your intermittent guests and things like that, that are just here and need a place to park, unless it really is a problem, we don't really go strictly into that, I don't think, and I don't want to put you on the spot, officers, we'll make
The
sure.
only people that are in question here is Farmwood, because they have 10, 15 cars
Yeah.
at any given time. So
There are
everybody
three in the
else,
garage
nobody
already.
parks there besides them.
Right,
So
it's farm.
I could look into it to see if anything different, but historically, since I at least been enforcing, we never had issue with them, we never did anything, so just, everything was okay. But if something you guys want us to look at, but that's something.
It's been 3 of their trucks generally in the garage overnight.
Yes,
Because I get in early enough that I know the same 3 trucks are there. 3's not an issue. It would be more of an issue if they had 15 or 20 taking up spaces continuously.
I'm going to guess, Stacy, and just to this point, I'm gonna guess when we announced that garage had to close, that some of the underground parking in the Novus building got emptied of company cars to accommodate employee cars, and they may have been shifted around and such, so I'm just guessing, so, but
I'm
that's.
just, my concern is somebody's parking a vehicle and never moving it. I mean, we could go 3 weeks with the vehicle never.
We would, those we do get those reports, and those, if there's a vehicle parked for a long time, Officer Razul or the police will go look at that. I mean, you cannot
Okay.
just leave a vehicle forever, so.
Okay, that was my concern. Cause I was like, wow, that's actually a very inexpensive garage to park your vehicle at and never have. to-
Right, yeah,
No, you can't park overnight, unless you ask like a special permission for overnight. But the only people that's kind of different is Farmsworth, so. There's the only vehicle that I have seen, they park overnight. And they don't park, you know, like you said, 15 days or whatever.
Okay.
In
But
fact,
they-
I think they move the
It's
car. every day.
moving.
They're
The
using the
car is
car, and
moving.
it stays over.
Yeah, it's not like they're constantly working, so they're.
We're not
constantly-
using our permits for storage is what.
No,
my
right,
concern
no,
is.
that's not-
Okay,
so.
just making sure.
Okay, any others that's fit for city? Okay, I guess the next meeting will be the 28th May.
It will be.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice job, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, Eric,
Yeah, 2 seconds.
did you see my